Hi everyone and welcome to this Python project tutorial in which we are going to build a contact book in Python that can add, search, display and delete contacts and store them in a JSON file. And even if you close the program, your contacts will still be saved in the JSON file. Before we start writing the code, let me show you what output we expect from this program. When you run the program, the first thing that appears is the main menu. This menu gives you 5 options: add contact, search contact, display all contacts, delete contact, and exit. When you choose option 1, the program asks you to enter the contact's name, the phone number, and the email address. For example, if you enter name test_4 and along with its phone number and the email address, which I am entering to test the code, then the program confirms that the contact added successfully, as you can see it from here. After this, you will open the contacts.json file. You will see that your newly added contact is appended to the list. All previously saved contacts remain unchanged. This shows how the JSON file updates automatically whenever a new contact is created. When you choose option 2 in the menu, the program asks you to enter a keyword. If you type a partial name like test, it will display all contacts whose name contain test in any position. If you type an exact name such as test_2, then it will show the specific contact that matches. And as you can see it from here, it matches exactly test_2. And if no contact matches your keyword, the program informs no contact found. Option 3 simply prints every contact stored in the contacts.json file. Each contact name, phone, and email are shown in the terminal exactly as they appear in the file. Option 4 allows you to delete a contact, but only with an exact name match. If you type the exact contact name, that contact is removed from the JSON file. And it confirms contact deleted successfully, as you can see it from here as well. Choosing option 5 simply exits the menu and ends the program. And that's it. Now let's move on to create the file and write the code. So I will create here a file and give it a name contact_book.py. After that, I will collapse this area and then I will write the title of the code, that is contact book using JSON. Now first we will import two essential Python modules, JSON module and OS module. The JSON module will be used to read and write contact data in the contacts.json file, and the OS module will be used to handle file paths safely so the program can always locate the JSON files. And now we will create two different classes. The first class we are using is the contact class. This class is responsible for storing the data of a single contact. Whenever a new contact is added, the program will create an object from this class and store the name, phone, and email inside it. Inside this class, we are using a constructor method. The method name is _init_. This constructor will run automatically whenever you create a new object of the class. In this case, it receives the contact's name, the phone number, and the email address. And then we will create another method inside of the contact class, to_dict. The purpose of this method is very important. A Python object cannot be directly saved into a JSON file. So that is basically a limitation of the JSON file, that it cannot save a Python object. But JSON can support dictionaries, lists, strings, and numbers. So the purpose of this method is to convert the contact object into a dictionary format. So when this method runs, it returns a dictionary containing three key value pairs: name, which is contact's name, phone, which is contact's phone number, and email, which is contact's email. And this dictionary will be permanently stored into the JSON file. And now we are done with creating our first class, which has basically two methods. But before moving on to the second class, let's test this first class. So I am creating here a contact c is equal to, and contact is basically the name of the class, which has these three attributes: name, phone, and email. So let's say the name of the contact is John, and I am putting a phone number and email address just to test. And in order to print that, I have to write print and c.dict, because I'm basically calling this convert to dictionary method. If I run this program, it will print this contact in dictionary format inside of the terminal. And remember, our JSON file has not yet created, which we will create in our next class. Now we create our second class called contact book. This class is the heart of the entire program because it handles all operations such as loading existing contact from the JSON file, saving contacts, adding new contacts, searching different contacts with a partial match, displaying all contacts, and deleting contacts. Now this class also uses a constructor method double underscore init double underscore. The constructor runs automatically when we create an object of contact book. Inside this constructor method, we are using self.filename, which basically stores the name of the JSON file. So we will define it as self.filename is equal to filename. And then we will be using self.contact, which basically is a list that will hold all the contacts loaded from the file. And when we start the program, we want all the contacts to be loaded immediately. For that, we are using self.load underscore contacts. This ensures that every time you run the program, it remembers previously saved contacts instead of starting empty. Now we are done with the constructor method, and now let's move on to the further methods. So the next method is to load the contacts. I will write the code for this method later, and then I will move on to the next method, which is to save the contacts. So I will define it. Since I am more interesting to write the code for add contact, so I will write the code for that, and for these two methods I will simply type here pass. And it is because we want to write the code for the next method, and we will come back to these previous methods later. So the next method is to add contacts. This method is used to add a new contact. First, it creates a new contact by calling the contact class with the name, phone, and email we provide. So we will be using our first class here. We will call that class here, and we will write name, phone, and email. Now this new contact has to be added, or you can say append, in self.contact list. And this should be appended in the form of dictionary, so I'm calling this method to underscore dict, right? And then this method should be saved, so I'm simply calling this self.save method. We will write the save contact methods code later, and after that a message should be displayed that contact has been saved successfully. Now before writing the code for the rest of the methods, I will first write the code for the menu. So I will move my attention to the main program. So I have defined here a main method in which I will be creating this object book is equal to contact underscore book. This will basically call this second class. After that, I will simply write the code for the menu. So first message that should be displayed on our screen is the contact book. And after that I will write again a print statement. So the first thing should be to add the contact, so I'm writing here one dot add contact. I will basically copy this line and I will print here 3-4 times, and I will simply change the content. So second option should be to search the contact, third option should be to display all contact, fourth option should be to delete contact, and although there should be another option to exit the program, because we will be using here a while loop. So I will select this menu and press the tab, and I will add here fifth option, that is to exit the program, because the program will be running in a while loop. So we have to choose the fifth option in order to exit from the program. There should be a user input as well, so I'm writing here choice is equal to input and enter your choice. So this is our user input, and this also should be part of the while loop, so I have added that indentation as well. Now we are done with the menu and done with the user input. So if the user choose option number 1, so this is basically to add the contact. In order to add the contact, the user has to specify the name, the phone, and the email. So that also would be a user input. So name is equal to input, enter name. Also phone is equal to input, enter phone. And finally there will be the third option to enter the email as well. So these are basically the three parameters of this method add underscore contact. So I will be calling that add underscore contact along with its three parameters: name, phone, and email, which basically are the user input. Now I want to test this code. I want to add a contact. For that, I want my main method to run. For that, I have to enter a piece of code. So if double underscore name double underscore equal double underscore main double underscore, then our main method should execute. And now let's run this program, and now let's test this thing. So as soon as I run my program, I am able to see this menu, and if I enter option number 1 from the menu, it asks me to enter the name. So I have entered John as example name and phone number as example, and also email as well, and it says contact added successfully. And since our add contact method is working fine, I will now move my attention to save underscore contact method. So this method is basically responsible for saving all the contacts to our JSON file. And since I want the self.file name to be open in write mode, so I have written self.file name, w. Next I use json.dump. This takes our self.contact list, which already has all our contact dictionaries, and writes it into the file. I also have used indent is equal to 4 just to make it look neat in the JSON file and readable for humans. And now I will move to the load contact class. It basically loads our contact from the JSON file. So first I will use os.path.exist in order to check if the file actually exists or not. This is important because the program should not crash if the JSON file has not been yet created. If the file exists, I will open it in read mode. That's why I have put R here, and then I use json.load file to read all contacts from the JSON file and store them in self.contacts. But if the file doesn't exist yet, I just make self.contacts an empty list. This way, the program starts fresh and we can add new contacts easily. And now let's talk about searching contacts. For that, we have a specific method, search underscore contacts. This method lets you find any contact using a keyword. It could be part of the name, the part of phone number, or part of email. First, I will convert the keyword to lowercase so that the search doesn't care about uppercase or lowercase letters. For that, I have written here keyword is equal to keyword.lower. Now we need an empty list that will basically store all contacts that match the search. For that, I am using result is equal to an empty list. And then I will loop through every saved contact one by one. For that, I am using this for loop for c in self.contacts. And I will basically check if the keyword appears anywhere in the name, phone, or email of the contact. And for that, I'm writing this if statement, if keyword in c name.lower, which will basically check if the keyword appears in name or not. And I have to do the same for the phone number. So what I will do, I will basically copy and paste this statement here. And as you can see it from here, we are basically using three parameters: name, phone, and email. So if the search keyword appear in name, phone, or email, then it should be appended inside of the result list. And for that, I'm going to write here results.append. So if a match is found, it will be added inside of this results list. And finally, I return all matching contacts to the user. For that, I'm writing here return results. And now moving on to the next method, and I think I have missed that here as well. It should be display all contacts. So I will add that here, and then I will define that display all method here. So I'm writing the title as comment display all contacts. So basically this function shows all the contacts saved in the system, right? And first I will check if the contact list is empty. So for that I have written if not self.contacts, right? And if it's empty, I will print a message telling the user there are no contacts. And for that I have written this print statement. And then I will stop the function because there is nothing to display. For that I have written return here. But if the contact exists, I will print a heading for the list. For that I have written that print statement. And then I will loop through each contact and give them a numbering starting from 1. So I will write here start is equal to 1, and each line shows the contact's name, phone and email in the clean format. And I will print that clean format here in the print statement. For that I have used this f string. So I will represent basically the numbering which will start from 1, which we have defined start is equal to 1, and then the name would be displayed, and there would be a spacing with the tab, and then this vertical line. After that the phone will be displayed, and similarly the email will be displayed here as well. So this is the format that I have created. You can create your own format, it's up to you. Alright, and now moving on to the final method, and that is to delete contact. And this function deletes a contact based on the exact name the user provides. And remember, our search contact was based on partial match. So if a name partially matched, then it would still display in the output. But for deleting a contact, it should exactly match. I will show you the difference between the partial match and the exact match at our final testing as well. So here I will first record how many contacts we had before deleting anything. For that I am using this original underscore count, right? For example, I can have 10 number of contacts before I delete a contact. So I want to count that thing as well. I will rebuild the contact list here, but the logic is I will only keep the contacts whose name don't match the one we want to delete. I will first loop through self.contactList first, and then I will use the if statement to compare the names in the lowercase. So the match is case insensitive. So here the list will be updated, and I will save this version of list back to the JSON file. For that I am using self.save_contacts. And then if the list becomes smaller, it means a contact was successfully deleted. And for that I'm using this if statement, that if length of self.contacts less than original count, then a message should be displayed that a contact has been successfully deleted, right? But in the other case, if the list is the same as previous, then a message should be displayed no contacts found, and it is because nothing has been deleted. The reason can be search not found. And that's it for the methods. Now let me just check here. To calling the method, we have to add here double parenthesis. And now coming back to the main program. So we were done with if the user choose one. Now move on to if user choose option number 2 in the menu. So option number 2 is to search the contact, and for that we need a keyword, right? So there will be a user input to enter search keyword, and this has to be stored inside of a list called result. So it will return all matching contact list. Now here two things can happen: if search finds some contacts and if search does not find anything. So I will use here if statement, and if search finds something, then it will basically loop through each contact one by one and simply display the name, phone and email in a clean format. We have used a cleaner format above, so I will copy that and paste it here, and I will simply add here a tab because I am using a for loop. So if the keyword matches, then it will be displayed a list of contacts that matches the keyword. Otherwise I will let the user know nothing matched the keyword. Choice number 3 is very simple. I will simply call the method display all. And for choice number 4, there will be a user input to enter the name in order to delete the contact. And then I will simply call the method delete underscore contact, which we have created earlier. And similarly, option 5 is also very simple to exit the program, right? And otherwise there will be an incorrect entry. And there is a little correction that I have to made here. And now it's time to test the program. So I will run the program. Here is the menu, and let's choose option number 1. We have to enter the name of the contact, phone and email. Press enter button, and the contact has been added successfully, right? So the choice number 1 is working correctly, and now it's time to move the second choice, that is to search the contact. So I will enter here 2. In the search keyword I have entered TE, but in the result it showed me TEST test. So it basically follows the partial rule which I have explained you earlier. And now moving on to test the third option, that is to display all contacts. So here are the list of the contacts that we have saved in the JSON file. And now moving on to the option number 4, that is to delete the contact. So we have to enter the exact name of the contact. So for example, I enter here AB and press enter button, it will not delete the contact because this does not follow the partial route which I have explained you earlier. If I enter correct name ABC, then the contact deleted successfully. It shows that thing as well. And here is the contact.json file. And here are the contacts in form of dictionaries which we have saved. So for example, if I want to add a new contact, for example, test underscore 2, phone number and email, I will enter those. If I press enter button, the contact has been saved here as you can see it from here. Now if I want to delete that contact, this one test underscore 2, I have to enter the exact name and the contact has been gone. So that's all for this tutorial guys. If you find this video helpful, then please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.